one. Wow! What's happening, everybody? Yes, sir. We back. We back, and we're back. It's Monday. What's good, everybody? How's everybody doing? How are you, your mama, your cousin, and your Uncle Darren? I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. Welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I am he. I'm fortunate enough to sit in the host seat. Man, listen, wherever you are around the world, I went digging to my bag of tricks and got one of the most powerful people I know. Yeah, I went dug deep for this one. I don't necessarily dig in my black book all the time, but today was something special. So listen, I want to shout out everybody real quick because I want to dive right into this. We've been trying to get this done for months, but all of us ain't able to have this kind of caliber of individual on the line. So listen, if you calling in from Africa, shout out. If you're on the West Coast, shout out. If you in Canada, shout out. If you in South America, shout out. If you in the lower nine, wow. I don't care where you at. Oh, I'm sorry. If you a 7 ward hardhead. Anyway, nonetheless, y'all catch that on another day. I have one of the most powerful individuals that I know. And oh wait, man, let me tell y'all something. Cut all of that stuff. Tell y'all something. I was reading my girl bio, and listen, two of my favorite all-time speakers and preachers are Dr. Noel Jones and Dr. Cindy Trim. Well, with them, you need a thesaurus, a biography of your own thoughts. You need to dig in things. You need to go get a hooked on phonics. You need a educational teacher, an English literal, all this other crazy. Start reading her bio. I was like, all these words. I say, oh Lord, I got to introduce. I say, let me go here. There was one word I can't think of the name of it. You said, and I almost laughed. I was just like, what's that? Huh? Wait, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna turn it up. Y'all gonna laugh. I had to go get it. Yeah, that's what it was. I couldn't remember the name of it. But anyway, let me tell you guys who I have on the phone or on the line or on Zoom or wherever you are. This is actually one of my very dear friends. Dr. Fontenette actually is an associate professor at the University of Delaware, where she's covering and I say she's overseeing everything, but that's a whole nother discussion. African American studies. She's really pouring into individuals about that side of history. But in addition to that, she's also created some things for teachers and professors who learn how to actually teach the students and not just be a figurehead in front of the classroom. I mean, she's created some dynamic things around the world. She is one of the most inspirational individuals about some of the powerful things that she has behind the scenes. But on top of all of that, man, she is just a teacher at heart. She's an educator at heart. She's a mother. She's a friend. She is my girl. She's my sorrow. She's my woe now. She's all of that in a bag of tricks. So y'all do me a favor and welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette, my girl, my friend, Dr. Alicia Fontenette. Girl.
Thank you so much for having me, brother. I'm gonna try to make sure I don't let that seven war come out too much when I talk, but I always get excited
No,
talking to you, so we'll see.
no, I'm gonna tell you right now. Wait, what's this word? Let me think of this word. Hold on. Oh
What was
yeah,
it?
pedagogical. That's what it
I knew
was.
that was the one pedagogical.
I said, wait a minute, Jesus. Pedagogical. I was thinking it was something we're doing with your feet. I was like, wait a minute. I had to go look up the word. I was like, how's she gonna have me doing homework on my own show? And if y'all don't know, if y'all like me, that just simply means teaching, right? That's her style. She's a teacher at heart. But now she went dug up some word way back in the English language.
Innovative, right? How do you be innovative? How do you create new ways of teaching? Because we have students who learn differently, right? So we cannot go with the same way of teaching. You have to learn your students. You can't teach everything the same way. Even if you taught it for 30 years, students don't learn the same.
That's so true. That's so true. So listen, last week on my podcast, right, I was doing some stuff and I was talking about, if I remember correctly, about co-parenting from a different household, right? And went through all of that, and it was beautiful. A whole bunch of people shout me out. But at the end, I said I wanted to go into relationships, not so much co-parenting, but in relationships, but from a black perspective. Now, I'm not trying to be all pro-black, pro-white, none of that, but I'm just want to give a legitimate understanding of the depths of where we came, but I also want to come from a male perspective. But I didn't know who I could dialogue with and argue with other than you. And thank God that the stars align. Just FYI, guys, she's about to literally leave to go out with her son and do some things with her son. So I'm just happy I had a block of time to holler at her. So, all right, Dr. Fontenette, can I have flowers? I mean, I'm a man. Can I have flowers?
You could have them and you deserve them, which is why you have this time tonight, right? People do what they want to do, regardless of how busy they are.
Okay. All right, great. Now let's get into the relationship side, right? As a
Mhm.
man, and I know you and I have deep, way deep talks, and we way off in deepville. But for the listeners today, let's get into it. I'm gonna be serious now. So a lot of men they want to date or they're dating somebody, but from a male perspective, a lot of times we feel that we are just literally decapitated, just from history. And a lot of women come off and just start snatching people's souls, and whether they want to do it or not. So when I say, can I have flowers? It's like I've never in my life had somebody give me flowers. Never. No relationship. I've never had somebody give me flowers. So then it's like in today's world, if somebody give me flowers, they'll start saying, well, you funny, you gay, you this, you that. And it's just like, hold on, I'm just getting flowers. Like I can't get flowers. So talk to me from a historical standpoint leading up to the day. Like, first of all, how did we become so demasculated as men? And then, what talk to your boy? I mean, give me, because you're gonna start talking about diaspora and all of these other words. Y'all go get y'all dictionaries. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and there's no one example that I could give. It's a myriad of things that have happened throughout the course of history, right? Since we have been forcibly removed from our homeland and brought here. And I often tell people, in order to understand the Black experience in relation to Black men and Black women and our relationship, is that we must go back to that plantation, right? We must go back
Hmm.
to the plantation. We know prior to the plantation, we ruled on side of y'all, right? It
Yeah.
it it was no question, no doubt. As a matter of fact, most African traditional African tribes are very much matriarchal, right? So we
Hmm.
understand the power of the woman. We understand the power of the womb, the giver of life, right? The not only the giver of
Oh,
life, but the one
yeah.
that sustains life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a couple things here, right? And before I get into what happened on the plantation with us and how we, was intentionally divided, I'm going to say this. A
Hmm.
lot of Black women also need to remember our place and who we are. Because in order to be a mother and a woman who gives life, our job is to sustain life. So, how do we begin to neglect the Black men that we very much gave birth to?
Mm.
Right?
Ooh.
That that
Ding, ding,
that
ding.
sustenance that sustenance that's needed does not just stop once puberty is reached. It does not just stop once you step out of your household, right? Because if we're
Right.
saying we're the mothers of the community, then we understand that theoretically speaking, we are not literally your mothers, but as your mothers, we are nurturers. We are those that help you sustain. So many Black
Yes.
women, I argue, need to remember their role for that in the first place. And I
Hmm.
can even go biblical on you, right? If we really want to, right? Helpmate. Do we really understand what the
Yeah.
word helpmate means? Help partner,
Right.
helpmate, however people like to write it, depending on the version of the Bible you read, right? Do we go back to understanding that? So I believe there's a need to return back to the foundation of understanding who we are and reclaiming who we are. But if we do that, we also have to understand our place and necessity to also cater to
Hmm.
our men and continue to nurture them. So going back
Okay.
to the plantation, we get on this plantation, what has happened? Over generations and generations and generations, you have many Black people that are removed from what we
Mm-hmm.
know, what we were used to. So, as Black men stand up straight and we try to understand what manhood is and how this looks, what's the
Yeah.
example we have? The only example we have is this white man and how he treats his woman.
Yes.
You
That's
see,
that's right.
patriarchy was never an African characteristic. It was never that. I just said we
Mhm.
were matriarchal people, right? So in order
Right.
to become man, we then begin to mimic white men. And I say we because as black women, we also begin to mimic white women. And we
Yes.
could go so deep in so many different ways, even when we start talking about what womanhood is, but the focus here is manhood. And all of a sudden we start demanding things from each other that we shouldn't, right?
Okay.
What
Okay.
is manhood for you? I often ask my students, what is manhood for you? What is womanhood for you? And they name roles and not characteristics. Well, a man,
Wait. Stop. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Ding, ding, ding. Wait. Let me get my pen out. Wait. So, what's those two questions? Because the family got homework tonight. I had to go find out what words mean. Y'all got homework. So, what are those two questions that you ask your students? Because I think that's where it's going to begin to pour. What are those two questions?
mhm, how do you define manhood and how do you define womanhood? How do
Uh,
these two entities look to you? What does
girl,
it
I'm
mean
about to
to be man? What does it mean to be woman?
girl, I'm about to throw a shoe. Gee, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm looking for something to throw in the office. Go ahead. I'm
Right?
sorry.
So then you have the young ladies that, well, manhood, we're talking financial provider, somebody that can protect me. He got to be a certain height. He got to be able to pay for this and provide this. And I'm like, well, who told you that? So after they give me what they think, and then of course the men, a woman cooks and she cleans and she's nurture, okay, I get down with that. Now my question then becomes, who told you that?
Oh, my God.
Right?
Woo.
And these are conversations, mind you, that take place within the first 2 weeks of the semester, because before I start molding minds, I have to deconstruct what you think you know,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So who told you what you know? How do you know what you know? And then this is the thing that really gets students thinking. And it made me think when I first had to ask myself this. Why is it as Black people, when it comes to anything, whether it be our relationships, whether it be our finances, whether it be our professional life, why do we measure ourselves for success using our oppressor's tool that he uses for himself?
Ding, 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 ding. I need something to throw.
Right? And you
That's
can apply
deep.
it to the relationships, right? Because you have these unrealistic expectations of Black men in America that white men have set the bar for themselves. Again, how can you say you are reaching success, but you using the tools that your oppressor uses to measure his own success? So are you aiming to be like your oppressor?
So we not even collectively, we're not even being 100% authentic of who we really are and who we were born and created to be.
Because we
Ah,
haven't defined it
no.
for ourselves. We have not
Ah,
defined it for ourselves. And Audre
yes,
Lorde said it best, right? If you don't define yourself for yourself, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it. And of course, I'm paraphrasing, right? So
yes.
the very first thing here, what I will argue is important in this conversation, do Black men deserve flowers? Do you deserve flowers? Is first we have to understand what manhood is and what womanhood is from a Black perspective and a Black reality in America.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right?
Jeez.
Is it fair for me to expect of you all these characteristics that white women have listed and white men have listed for themselves and not consider the opportunities that they have that Black men don't, and I still expect this from you?
Oh, wait. So I got a question. So listen, I gotta throw something out. Yeah, we about to get this. It might have to be a part two, but I gotta get to this. So Dr. Fontenette, I'm about to call you my friend name, but I got Dr. Fontenette. Let me be professional.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Fontenette. Let me go here. A couple of weeks ago, I did something why men don't talk on the podcast, right? And an enormous amount of people. I did a 1 and 2, just calling and sending messages. Just wow. Now, the reason I say that inside this conversation is that one of the reasons, the deeper reasons of why men don't talk? Or you say no?
I didn't hear the question. I was going, yeah. So what was the question?
Oh, no, 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 that's fine. So my question is, does why when I asked the question about why men don't talk, is that one of the reasons back then or now why men don't talk because we still don't know who we are and maybe we don't trust the individual that we're with, or maybe is it something different?
I I think it's that as well as in addition to different things, right? I think that there is
Mhm.
a lack of trust, but there is a lack of trust because women, especially Black women, we are so confusing. We are so contradictory to what we say we want from a man and expect a man to do. I
Oh
want you to be
wow.
vulnerable with me. Oh, but you can't be too vulnerable because now you're acting too soft, as if vulnerability and strength can't coexist,
Hmm.
right?
Wow. You dropping
Because
nuggets.
I still need you to be strong, right? Because strong is a characteristic of a
Yes.
man. But if you be vulnerable, you're showing a weakness. And it's like, who told you that?
Yeah.
Why do many women think that? So if as a man, the minute I share with you and then you throw in my face and then you call me a name, you little well, you have completely shut me down, even if I'm married to you, if I'm with you. And now I feel like I can't trust you with my emotions. Now I feel like I can't be
Yes.
vulnerable with you. Now I feel like I can't connect with you because a connection is not always just a physical intimacy. I cannot emotionally connect with you, which is the deepest intimacy aside from God, I feel two
Right.
people could share,
Yes.
right? I can't trust you.
Hmm.
And then you're wondering why I'm out at night. You're wondering why I'm, talking to my homegirls. I'm sorry, my homeboys about what's happening at home. We're not
Yeah.
connecting. So I think that's definitely an issue, right? I want you to be able to read my mind, but I dare you tell me what I want,
Oh, girl. Yes, ma'am. You in it right now.
right? I want you to have all the money in the world to be able to provide for me and do all the things I want, but you're not home. Well, how can this man make money and provide the life you want, but then you want him up under you? You can't have both,
That's right.
right? So it's a combination of that loss of trust, but in addition to some of these things I just mentioned that I believe.
Now, on the male side, how do we get or stabilize that relationship in that space? So we already beat against. You took that deep breath and you like, oh Lord. But how do we stabilize that, right? So we don't know who we are, collectively. We don't know who we are. We haven't really examined who we are. We're using a different scale to judge who we are. As a matter of fact, I even use weight, right? There are some people there's certain people we're just naturally fine and healthy and great shape. But the scale will say, oh, you overweight. Well, this is all tone, this is all muscle. So if we don't really know who we are and we're being defined by other individuals, then how do we now start bringing this all back? Because if not, we're going to continue to stay lost. Because that's yeah, we got to get that.
Well, we have to get to a place where we're ready to have conversations and understand that more than one thing can be true at the same time. Understand
Mm,
that we are socialized beings. Yes, I believe in this one thing. I thought about this one thing, but we can learn new things from each other based on our different experiences, right? When when two people come together, they are not
hmm.
coming from the same household. So we can
Right.
make an assumption that they are coming from different situations. One may have trauma, one may not, but both may have trauma, but the trauma may look differently, right? So when you come together, it's about learning each other and having conversations about how to properly and effectively love each other, right? And I often tell young ladies, they tend to gravitate towards me to ask for relationship advice, which I don't know why, but I say, when you are considering marriage, we have to stop this mindset that I'm going to find the one. I'm going to marry the one. And I tell them
Uh-huh.
you have to understand that you come together And the word says to become one. Now, is there a process of becoming one that you and I are talking about right now, right? How do we
Yes.
develop that trust? How do I understand where you come from and where I come from? And because we come from so different backgrounds, we have to learn how to love each other the way that each person needs. But how can I even begin to want to love you and understand you if I'm already coming at you with pre-qualifications that society has placed upon me to think about you? And these are unrealistic expectations, right? And I don't expect the normal Black American, who haven't done, extensive reading on things to, identify the oppressors, tools and success and whatnot. But at some point, we have to be smart enough to look at each other and have conversations and say, hey, what works for you and I? Let's all
Now,
this other noise. What are we doing? What's going to work for us? That's why I don't
can
believe in talking too much about my business, because I really think people ruin beautiful things.
Yeah, and that's even talking about getting grandma out your bedroom, your daddy, your mama, your sisters, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, relatives. Y'all come on,
Not
get out the bedroom. Y'all come on, get out the room so we can actually be there with your spouse. I'm sorry. I see you about to
well,
say something.
that
Go ahead.
no, because that's a big problem. You just brought up a big problem, and oh my God, she's saying our elders are the problem. Some of them are. Some of them are, because just because grandma did it, it doesn't mean it was right. How you think we got the term old fools? Hey, guess what? The same way we got young fools, don't you think young fools become old fools?
That's right. That-
I'm not right. Oh,
that's
Mama,
right.
people don't stay married like they used to. Mama and Papa stayed married 50 years. You think Mama wanted to stay with Earl cheating ass? No, she couldn't get a loan in her name to the 70s. She couldn't get a bank account without his name. She didn't want to stay with that man, but she
Right.
did,
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about it.
right? And then we go to the funeral and it's like, who is that girl? You ain't know Papa had another lady with some kids. It's like, oh, so we basing our ideas of love on.
Hmm.
What are we basing this on? Right? So go ahead, because I feel like I've been taking up a lot of airtime. I'm sorry. I told you I get excited talking to you.
Listen, the one thing, as you know, in our show, we don't hold back and we want people to get the actual knowledge, right? To edify, to uplift, to bring forth, to make sure that they have it, to receive it, to do better, right? Because we're not all 100, right? And we try our best to go and find the utmost powerful individuals to make that happen. So, in this topic, I wanted to do it with you because you can come from an historical standpoint and then bring it home when you start talking about relationships because people think black men are just trash. But the research that I've done, and it may be wrong or different now, but the research that I've done, and I said, I think last podcast, we are the most individuals that are there for the kids. Just because somebody highlights two or three fools and decide they're going to do a marketing campaign on those two or three fools does not mean the other 98% or the 97% are the ones that are just doing. No, they're out there doing well. So I wanted to have this conversation with you. I want to ask you this, since we're going to get into it. Let me ask you this. From a male perspective, right? And I know a lot of male students come to you and talk to you and open up and share and confess different things. You and I both know there are a lot of weight that men carry, a lot of things that we carry in our head mentally, right? And a lot of things we don't release. So when we start releasing those things from a deeper perspective and what we want to do, but because of grace and we don't act on them, how do you now move those men from that pain, from those things of the past, to become whole, to have a holistic relationship with a X, Y, or Z lady? Yeah.
This this is a process. And I think a couple things needs to happen on both parts with man and woman. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, both black men and black women, we have to acknowledge how we have contributed to each other's pain. It is not
Oh,
one-sided. It is not
hold on.
one-sided at
Say that
all,
again. Rerun
right?
that. Rerun that. Rerun that like the Cosby Show.
Yeah,
Rerun
yes.
that.
Black men and black women, we both have to acknowledge, right, how we have contributed to each other's pain.
Yes.
That's a bottom line,
Hmm.
right? Because we do have the impact and influence of media stereotypes, right? In which these things impact our perceptions and it does impact our relationships, right? Black men have been negatively stereotyped in many ways, and so have black women. The issue is that
Yes.
we have come together and we have, put those different stereotypes on each other as opposed to just loving, right? Like let's acknowledge how black men have contributed to the hypersexualization of women, right? This
Okay.
this
Yes.
this 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 idea that we are seen as aggressive when we are just simply trying to make a point, as if we can be emotional, right? The same way black women also need to contribute and acknowledge how we've contributed to emasculating black men because they can't fit a white man's description that he gave of himself,
Mm,
right?
that's true.
Because we
Yes.
we have done that, right? And also this idea with conflicting gender roles. We know a lot of sisters doing the damn thing, right? We have a lot of black women who are very independent. They have a strength, and we need to understand that was developed as a result and response to historical consequences that forced us to be strong because they intentionally took you all out of the home from us, right?
Yeah.
Which is something big that contributed to how we perceive y'all in the first place. So we also have to understand that hey, we're not each other's enemy here. We are
That's
not
right.
the enemy, right? We are not each other's enemy. But understanding that because these things were done intentionally to take black men out of the home, and then black women were forced to become strong, whatever that means, right? It impacted our thought on traditional, or shall I say expected, gender roles,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
we could also get in the Bible with that too, right? Because I often tell people all the time, Sarah called Abraham my Lord, not because he was the man and she had to serve him, but
Uh,
because she said, I'm going to
Hold
serve
on.
you.
Pause. Pause. Go
Ah,
back. I want you to say it one more time. Pause. Ding, 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 ding. Because people really don't think that's in the Bible. They really don't think that's in the Bible. So now people not hearing it from you, they're hearing it from an expert. Can you please regurgitate that for
mhm.
the people in the back row of the church?
Yes, yes. So Sarah called Abraham my Lord. That was not to reiterate this subservient role of women to their husbands. No, she said, "Hey, I'm
Yes.
calling you my Lord because I know you are leading me in Christ." Right. So that goes
Yes.
back to that trust, learning your partner, learning your partner, being there with them, trusting them to where, right? Hey, if you are my husband and you say you have consulted with God and you have made this decision, I have seen and learned you enough to know your relationship with God, and I don't have to question. I follow blindly to a certain extent because I trust you, right? I
Yes.
tell people all the time, as women, and I argue for many black women, we don't want to be quote unquote strong all the time. We want to follow, but can I trust you to lead? And once you show that,
Ooh.
that's what that means, right? And that was God's intent. Now, a lot of sisters may
Yeah.
be mad at me for this one, but I think
But
it's
they
true.
love you. But they
But
love
I
you.
think it's true. And what I'm about to
Yes.
say, fact based on what is written in the Bible. Yes, we could go back. Oh man, wrote the Bible. Yes, that's okay, but we understand its interpretation. So just miss me with that. My interpretation of this is that it was God's intention and purpose for men to lead us as women. That's why He created you first. He created me secondly as a helpmate from your rib, saying, "Hey, he needs a partner. He needs a helpmate." Again, going back to what I said earlier, a helpmate. I'm only helping. I'm not responsible for the thinking. I'm not responsible for the idea. I'm not, hey, what do you need so I can help you?
So what? So now let me flip it, right? And on the flip side, what do you do for those weak men that is incapable of leading? Because I can hear women saying, "Yeah, well, what about so? What about those individuals that are incapable of leading ladies or women or your spouse to that next level?"
So here's the thing too, and I'm happy you reworded it. Those men who are incapable of leading, because at first you said weak, and I was going to say, well, how are we defining weakness here, right? So, but you caught yourself and you reworded it. I think that's when going back to what I said, you see, it's coming full circle. we as women have to understand our role and our necessity of prayer and in prayer. If you really go through, and I think I had mentioned this to you the other day, if you really go back and go read your Bible, I mean, really go read it and take a tally of every time man asks for something versus every time woman asks for something. God never answered the prayer of one man in the Bible.
Never answered the prayer for one man in the Bible.
Okay, you said one?
No, I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
No, 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 no. Right? Because we have fathers who lost their sons. We have floods that came. We had men say, "Hey, can you? We don't want this to happen," but God let them go through their adversities to come out on the other side. But if you go back and go read, every time a woman prayed, God answered. Now, I'm giving you some more homework, and if it may take a while because you got to read through that thing and really take note every time man asks for something versus every time woman asks for something. God always answered the prayer of a woman. God don't play about women. That's why he made us your helpmate. He don't play about us because when we pray, oh, we move mountains. And I think men know that. Men know that. That's why it's so important for y'all to find a wife. Because when he who finds two wives, he finds a good thing. That's what God said, because that was our purpose.
So let me reverse. Let me bring that thing to girl. Girl, you about to make me throw shoes and computers and everything. So now we get to Proverbs 31. And somewhere in there, he talks about how the lady gets up before day and prays over the man, if you will, so on and so forth. But my question now becomes, but how does he pray or converses with the Father to bring all of it back in place to remain in order? Because if the way I look at it, yeah, come on,
I have an answer for you, and I'm ready. Do you want to know how men do that? Let's go back to Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives, love your wives, love your wives, love your wives like Christ loved the church. You love your wife, God gonna bless you with everything.
So that's what you say when he said that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Well, I know we got to close out, but I got to end with
yes. Husbands should prioritize their wives' needs, desires, and well-being even above their own. Love your wife like Christ loved the church, and Christ loved the church so much. What did he do for the church? He died.
I don't know.
He died.
What did he do
he
for the
died
church?
for the
Say it
church.
again.
He died.
Say
He
it
died
again.
for the church, right? Love your wives like Christ so loved the church. Are you ready to give your life? Now, the thing is, as women, are we kneeling down in prayer? Are we giving this selfless love, right? Are we acknowledging that our husbands are loving us through Christ's example? Because people like to say with this proverb, oh, wives, submit to your husbands, but then it follows back up. Husbands, he says what about, count them, right? About 5-6 times. Love your wife. He repeats that. He commands that repeatedly.
Well, right now, if you go back, and this is not, this is, I think people miss this. I think it's Proverbs 20, somewhere in Proverbs 20, where God starts talking about the man and who the man should be and what the man should be doing. Not something different, but who the man should be, right? So if he having there talking about the man, talking about the woman or the husband, and what all that means. So when you wrap all of this up, this is what I hear, right? If a man is in order, is if a man is in direct communication with God, God is going to speak to him. And if he's in right order, when he finds a wife, now just I gotta touch that just for a second. I know you gotta go. I know you gotta go, but just for a second. Let me just tap this just real quick. If you find a wife, and the way I understand it, say he who finds a wife. Now, he didn't say who finds a girlfriend, who finds a boo, who finds a something. He who finds a wife. To me, that's saying you are already a wife, meaning in your thought process, your mentality, all of your thinking and the way you're doing it is of a wife, not, oh yeah, I want this beautiful wedding, but you're in that mindset already of I am a wife. So now when he finds you, now that's a whole nother discussion, family, but when he finds you, then he finds the favor of God, because that's what God, according to Genesis, that's what he intended it to be, a man, a husband and a wife. Now, where am I wrong at? Because I know you're
No,
giving our
no,
family
no,
homework.
no.
Talk to me.
You are right. You are right. I would just add to that and argue though that a man cannot find his wife based off the scripture you said, Proverbs 20. If I recall it correctly, right? A man cannot find his wife until he himself has become a man, meaning that he has also searched the innermost parts of himself and understands
That's right.
himself through every being, right? So
That's
if
right.
I recall that correctly, right? It's been a while since
Yeah,
I
I may
dived
be
into my
wrong in what scripture
Proverbs,
it
right?
is.
But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but when you think about a man and searching his innermost needs, right?
Yes,
Understanding how he
yes.
has penetrated your human spirit, exposing all those hidden aspects of your character, right? Have you really come to terms with your own spirit and your conscience and your intentions as a man?
Ooh. Wait. Here's another piece. I gotta say this. And look, we listen, family. Let me give y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a commercial next week, but we gotta listen. We're gonna go right up to the wall. But I gotta say this one thing, right? Here's the other piece that people, and what you just stated is powerful. So let me break it down what I'm thinking. First of all, men, let me highlight my fellas real quick. You have to search yourself first before you do anything else. So whatever you have in there that was stuck in there from the past or from other people or your thought process, we have to first get all of that stuff out, right? Dig all of that stuff out so now it can be poured into you the proper thing. So that's the first thing. The second thing, ladies, be the wife. Understand what it is to be the wife. Then also, let me just throw this one up there. We might have to do a part two, Doc. We might have to do a part two, right? So I want to look at this, right? But when we talk about oh my, I don't even know if I want this, but I gotta touch it. I gotta touch it so we can go. If you have sex before marriage or with other people, all of that stuff have to be dug out of you too, because you are carrying spirits and energies from other individuals. And if you don't properly get that stuff out of you, when you try to walk to the next person, you still have some stuff in you from others if you haven't dug it out. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
pause
no,
there.
see, but that goes back. Hold up, see, but that goes back to knowing the difference between am I ready to have a wife versus am I ready to be a husband? Because you could be ready to have a wife and you ain't ready to be a husband because you want all those benefits of a wife. But are you ready to be a husband? Okay, I'm gonna leave y'all.
I know you gotta go, Doc. I'm sorry. Listen, first of all, let me do this. There's two things I need to do. First, give whatever credentials, or not credentials, excuse me, whatever information you need to give. If somebody want to get in touch with you for you to speak or to guest lecture or all of those things that you do, coach, mentor, teach, all of that stuff. Well, how can our family get in touch with you?
Well, I always tell people, you can actually just simply Google my name. The University of Delaware will come up, and my email will show up. It's afontnet@udel.edu. So it just doesn't have the last two letters of my last name. And you can also connect with me on social media. I keep it easy on purpose. You could connect with me at Alicia Fontnet. I'm that on Facebook. I'm that on IG. But you can also just Google my name, and the University of Delaware will show up with my contact information.
All right. Well, family, thank you. Thank you. So also other thing is, we got to give a shout out to the Seventh Lord. Now, you ready? So I'm about to holler. You're going to holler behind me. You ready? Make sure your earbuds are in correctly because I don't want it to mess up. You ready? All right, we're
All
about to
right.
holler. All right, I'm going to do it first. All right. Wow.
Wow. I tell people all the
All
time, listen, please don't let these letters in front of my name fool you, and don't let these pearls I wear even fool you some more. I tell people all the time.
listen, Doc, we got to do this again. We got to do this again because listen, we start digging into this thing. Oh, it start getting good. So
I
now you gave
agree.
us
I agree.
homework. Used to gave us homework. Now we got to go research words, all this other stuff. We're going to have people pulling out encyclopedias, Bibles, dictionaries. Hey, look, go do it all. So listen, I love you, girl. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all that you do for the students up there
Mm.
in Delaware and all of the people around the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to your son. Tell him I say what he do.
I
So
will.
hello
He's
to
getting ready
everybody.
for camping. Yes, he is
Oh,
excited
okay.
about camping. He's outside in the tent right now.
Oh, never mind. Well, you go outside the tent and we're gonna talk soon. So again, thank you so much. We got to do this again. I really appreciate you, Doc.
Of course. And no, I love you too. I appreciate the love. And hey, as busy as I am, if you call me, I will make it happen.
Thank
You
you. So
see?
hey, y'all heard
That's
it
that
first. Hey,
flowers, y'all. That's me giving his brother his flowers. And get this, publicly. That's another part, but that's for the next conversation. Do I
that's
love
the
you
next
out
conversation.
loud? Right? As a black woman, do I love my man out loud? Ooh. Mm.
Oh, girl, wait. Hold on. Now you're gonna have people tuning in. Telling me, wait, what is part two? Because now they, girl, listen. Make sure you hug your son for me. Tell him I say what he do, and all the
Will
family.
do.
Tell everybody I say hello. I
Will
hope
do.
the students are ready at the University of Delaware. Ooh, wee. I hope they're ready.
Yes.
But anyway,
Y'all have
thank
a
you
good
so much,
night.
sis. I appreciate you. Oh, wait. You want to shout out your girls? You want to shout out your girls?
I always have to shout out the lovely ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Also, to all my colleagues around the world, the National Council for Black Studies. It is an honor and privilege to continue to serve as your executive director as we continue the fight for full freedom and liberation for Black people throughout the diaspora. So, thank you all so much for the support.
We appreciate you. I told y'all she was gonna get in there some diaspora, some word, and people gonna be trying. Wait, let me go look that up. How you spell it? VAS.
Right?
Let me get out of here. Listen, I appreciate you, Doc. We're gonna be talking. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the family. Whoa, now we about to get out of here. We climbing on out of here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see y'all next week on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. So I see you guys on the beaches of the world. God bless, and we out. Peace.